Thank you for your order. Hello and welcome to this sellability video. Now you might have been wondering if it's worth you including a thank you card in your Amazon orders. It sounds like a straightforward thing, doesn't it? Well, guess what? It's not as straightforward as you may have previously thought. So let me explain some of the do's and don'ts when you include a thank you card in your order. Now, this one that I have right here, I'd probably use for an eBay order as opposed to an Amazon order. So if you can see that on the back, it basically says if you have any issues with this purchase, please contact us ASAP and give us the chance to make it right. Now, what have I done wrong there? Maybe some of you are already able to tell me what it is that I've done wrong with that. I mean, if you don't know, that might seem like an awesome kind of card to have, but actually this would break some of Amazon's rules for thank you cards. Now, there's only a few things that you can do with thank you cards, a few things that Amazon will accept with them. So the thank you card literally just has to be a straight up thank you. Okay, it's just an acknowledgement to the customer, thanking them for their order. Like, that's it. That's pretty much all you can have. Beyond that, if you are to direct them to any form of support, it would have to be very clear that you are directing them to Amazon support. So you have to say, please reach out to Amazon seller support, something like that. You couldn't have it like this, where it says, please reach out to us, because that could infer in Amazon's eyes that you want to conduct communications with the customer outside of Amazon. Okay. If you are going to include any product information as part of like the card, so maybe it's not just a card, maybe it's like a small sheet of something with some details about the products, it has to be a very neutral product description and review. Okay, it has to be. Those are the only kind of extras that you can have on top of just an initial thank you. Now, a few things that you can't do is have any website or QR code or anything that directs the customer to basically handle stuff with the transaction, with the order or future orders outside of Amazon. Okay, you can't do anything like that. You can't offer some form of offer or discount or coupon if they have that thank you card. You can't do anything like that either. And in regards to like feedback, you can say please leave us a review on Amazon, but what you can't have is please leave us a positive review. Or, I mean, not that you'd want to, but even if you said, leave a negative review, you couldn't do that. Okay, if you do anything like that, it's exactly the same rule for if you are actually talking to a customer. You can't say, please leave us a positive. I mean, not that you'd want to, but even if you said negative, you can't coerce the review in any way. It has to be very neutral. So you just have to say, please leave us a review. You can't say positive, you can't say negative. Just little things like that. That little bit of wording can get you into trouble with Amazon. Something else that you can't do as well is include any like freebies or samples or anything like that with the thank you card. Like, you can't add anything additional to the order that isn't described in the listing. So the product that you're selling has to be the product that you're selling and nothing else. So you can't just have like a thank you. Like, for example, if you're selling a candle, you couldn't have a thank you card with like a different scent of like another kind of like candle, just like a little sampler thing like taped to it or something. Like, you can't do anything like that. So the order has to be the order. You can't throw anything else in there. Something else that you can't do as well, to be fair, I don't think anyone would do this anyway, but for example, if you were going to tell like a sob story about your business, you couldn't do that. Like, that is against Amazon's rules and regulations, and to be fair, that can come under the same umbrella as like attempting to coerce a customer. You leave a sob story, someone might feel sorry for you and leave you a big old positive review because of that. So you can't do anything that could potentially like coerce the customer in Amazon's eyes. So you have to keep it to the things that I've mentioned at the start. So it's got to be a simple thank you. If you are going to include any product information, it's got to be neutral. And if you are going to direct them to support or to leave a review, it just has to be, please leave us a review on Amazon and please reach out to Amazon seller support. Now, if you were to do something different, how would Amazon even know? Well, for starters, if you're doing FBA, obviously your stuff goes to an Amazon warehouse, so they will have a look, and if anything breaks the rules and regulations, obviously they're going to see that. It's going to an Amazon warehouse. It's going to be pretty hard for them to miss. If you are doing FBM, Could you get away with it because Amazon are not checking it then? No, they are not. But there is a risk attached to that. Okay. So, for example, if a customer has an issue with a product and say maybe they send a picture to Amazon and it just happens to have the card in it and maybe it's got like a QR code or something on there, something that you're not meant to have on that card, and Amazon happen to clock that, you could get into trouble. And maybe not just for that order, it could extend to multiple orders as well if you've been throwing these things in with multiple orders. And obviously it's going to be a bit of a tricky thing to get out of, given that Amazon may not believe you, even if that just happened to be the only order that you included that thank you card in. It's going to be a real hard thing to prove. Okay, so that's why you don't want to do it. You don't want to be caught out. And to be fair, for something as simple as a thank you card, it's just not worth it to do something that breaks Amazon's rules when it comes to these thank you cards. So yes, you could technically get away with it if you're doing FBM, but there is that risk involved, and you don't want a successful business to blow up in your face over something like this. So if you are going to include one, then just keep it as simple as what I said earlier in the video. Now, would I personally include a thank you card? Maybe. I might be a bit more inclined to do so on other platforms, and that's not to sound downbeat or to deter anyone, but from my point of view personally, even though I'm sure people are aware that like real people sell on Amazon, so like third-party sellers. But for some reason, there's still plenty of people that think that when they order from Amazon, like the product and everything to do with it is just pumped out of like some lifeless Amazon machine of some sort. So like to leave a review, like to leave some feedback or a review or whatever, unfortunately, I don't think people feel super inclined to do that on Amazon's platform because A, the products are like new, and B, again, lots of people for some reason think that everything's just pumped out of some like great big Amazon machine and it isn't, supplied by third-party sellers. Again, that's not to sound downbeat. That's not to deter anyone. A thank you card could literally be the difference between you getting some feedback or not. For me personally, would I include it? I'm not so sure. I'm very much on the fence with it. But yeah, hopefully that's helped you make up your mind as to if you want to include a thank you card. And if you do want to include something like that, then you can get very simple, very basic thank you cards from, guess what? Amazon, eBay, all manner of stores online. Anywhere that sort of like makes and prints business cards, they'll probably do something like this as well. It's not like a difficult thing to find. And you can order like 100 of these things for a very cheap price. They're just little cards, so they're not going to cost you an absolute fortune to get. So yeah, who knew that there'd be enough content to make a video on thank you cards with? Like, that's crazy. But anyway, hopefully that's helped clue you up. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you soon.